Hello, good morning, girls. Okay, good morning and welcome to another lesson. Okay, I hope you're all up by now. Okay, so today we're going to come to the interesting part of the lesson on transformer. Okay, in the previous lesson we've talked about how a transformer functions, and also what are the parts of the transformer, and the function, the parts, and also the differences, okay, between the types of transformer and similarity as well. Okay, so today we come to interesting part because we're going to learn about how to calculate. So this is an important part that you must master because there will be questions on how to calculate the voltage, whether it's input voltage or output voltage, and also the number of turns on the primary coil or secondary coil. Okay, so first of all, are you able to hear me? I see some comments here. Okay, so I see, all right, most of my girls are here, right? Okay, hello girls, Stella, Crystal, Vivian, Corzine, Zishan, Huyen, all right, Chai Xuan, okay, Hui, everybody else, yes, good morning, everyone. Oh yeah, you can hear me. Okay, good. Right, I will share screen now. Okay, I will share screen and please let me know whether you can see this. Okay, so it's interesting. If your maths is quite all right, it's no problem for you. Definitely, because simple calculation, all you need is sometimes you don't even need a calculator. Okay, now let's look at this transformer equation. Okay, right, I think it's right. Fine, I can see. Okay, now let's look at what we have learned so far. We have already learned that there are 4 values here. If you look at this diagram, okay, when I give you a diagram on transformer, right, or any question gives you a diagram on transformer, they will tell you, okay, how much, what is the number of primary coil. That is how many times you wind your wire around this side. This is the primary coil. Okay, maybe I put black color to, yeah, contrasting. So this is the primary coil. It is always connected to the source. The source is using AC current. You want to convert this AC current into a lower or higher voltage. Okay, so this is called the input voltage. The voltage that you want to convert is called the input voltage. Okay, input voltage is always to the source and is always connected to the primary coil. So the primary coil here depends on what's the number of primary coil. It means how many times you wind the wire around on this side of the iron core. So you can see here clearly here 3. All right, just for understanding, simple understanding, it won't be just 3 lah. Okay, you don't need too few. Right? You don't have a transformer that just have 3 coils on one side. There will be sometimes usually hundreds of wires. Okay, the number, or even thousands. Okay, on the other side, you will have the secondary coil. So as you always learned earlier, you always have the difference number. The number cannot be the same. Okay, because if number is the same, that means you're not changing anything. Okay, either one side less, one side more, or one side more, one side less. That's the only way you can change your voltage. Okay, now on this side, you can see here maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7. Okay, so this is called the number of turns on primary coil or secondary coil, and we will give a we give a symbol for it. So for primary coil, it's always P. Primary is P. For the number, we put N. All right, number means how many times. So NP. So NP here will be equals to 3. Okay, you see that? So NP stands for the number of turns on the primary coil. And you can see here clearly there's 3 coils. And on this side, this is a secondary coil. The secondary coil, what is the number? So of course, numbers always represented by N, and then S. So this S smaller, write it on the lower side. So this is NS stands for secondary coil. And you can see here is okay, so you have both sides, the primary coil and the secondary coil, the number. Okay, now what else you need to know to do a calculation? You also need to know your voltage. Okay, in the question they will give you out of this, they will give you 3 of the data, and the other one you will find out for yourself. So here input voltage, for example, 240 volt. Okay, I want to convert this electrical, this current with a voltage of 240 into a different voltage. So your input is what you want to convert. Your input is 240. And how we represent this, we use V. V stands for voltage. And because it's at the input, that means it's connected to a primary coil. So we put it VP. Okay, so VP here will be 240. So I want to introduce the symbols for you first. Okay, next one, over on this side, you have also another voltage. The voltage that comes out, right? The voltage that's already been converted. So we call it a voltage here. But because this is on the output side, this is connected to the secondary coil. So we put VS. Okay, and let's say this is the voltage that you want to connect to your laptop. Okay, so this is 9, say 9V. This is 240V. Okay, so there you have it. You have 4 symbols: NP, NS, NP for the number of coil at the primary side, NS for number of coil on the secondary side. Then VP is the voltage on the primary coil or the input voltage, and then VS the output voltage on the secondary coil. Okay, so NP, VP, right? Then you have your S and ES. Okay, so I've introduced the 4 symbols here. Okay, now let's come back to the formula. How do they relate? What is the relationship? That's why you need to remember a certain ratio. It's actually a ratio. Okay, you learned in math before. Ratio. So how many, this one over this is equal to the other ratio. So here, right, you have this formula. Now, don't be too worried about how to remember this equation. Okay, there are many ways you can write this equation. So here, how to remember here? Now, VP, here you just look at this V. VP stands for voltage on the primary coil. VP, okay. VS is the voltage on the secondary coil. NP is the number, okay, how many turns. Okay, you wind around it 100 times, then it will be 100. So NP is the number of turns on the primary coil, and NS is the number of turns on the secondary coil. Okay, so you just remember that. Now, how to remember the formula? Okay, it's very simple. I'll give you a simple way to remember. Your formula is always like this. All right, this is the diagram. All right, so if you were to write out your symbols here, familiarize yourself on how to write. So V, voltage is always V. If it's on the input means the primary, so this is VP. Okay, and that means the other side will be VS, secondary side. That is the voltage on the secondary side. Output, in other words, output voltage. Okay, now primary coil is actually always a number. How many times we coil around the thing? So it's called N. N stands for number. And P, because it's on the primary coil. And the other one will be N. S. Okay, the number on the secondary coil. Now, how to remember this ratio? Okay, let me see if there are any. Okay, nothing so far. Right, if there are any, how to remember? First of all, always remember is V over V. N equals to N over N. Okay, V over, yeah, correct. V over V, N over N. Or you can also choose to put on this side. N over N equals V over V. Okay, this is also correct. Now, which one is up? Which one is down? Is it P over N, VP over VS, or VS over VP? Okay, so it doesn't matter actually. So let me see. You just write it here. If I want to put my VP, then the bottom will be VS. So VP over VS is equal to, now on the other side will be the N number, right? The number you have to follow what is for the voltage. If the voltage, you put your P on top, here must be also P. Okay, and the bottom will be S. So this is correct. All right. Now, what if the balikkan the other side? I put my P on the left side. Okay. Let's say if my VP is here, then my S is down. All right. Then the voltage must follow suit, must follow exactly like this. This is also correct. Okay, or another way I can tell you, all right, I just now put a V over V, right? I can also choose to put my S like this, my VS on top. Also can. I can put my VS on top. This is the ratio. Okay, as long as this ratio is equal to the ratio of the other parameter, it's fine. Okay, now if you put your VS on top, your P at the bottom, on this side is also N over N, right? You have to follow with S on top, P at the bottom. This is also correct. Okay, but what you don't do is this, right? You do not do like this, which is your V. You want to put your V at the top, your V at the P at the bottom. Then you put over here your N over N. Then you put your P on top, your S over here. Okay, this is incorrect. Understand? So if you choose on one side is your S on top, P at the bottom, then you're on this side, it should be S on top, P at the bottom. However you want to arrange it left or right, never mind, it doesn't matter. Okay, after we'll prove it by doing calculation. Okay, right. Any questions so far? So you need to remember how to put the ratio. First thing, V over V equals N over N. Then if you want to put your P on top, then on this side also must be P on top. Okay, S at the bottom. If you want to put your S on top, then your P at the bottom on the other side must be the same. Then it makes sure that your formula is correct. Okay, right. So you write it down. Now let's try and confirm that with a sample question. Okay, now this question. Okay, let's understand it helps a lot if they already have the diagram. If you don't have the diagram, I encourage you to draw. As you read the question, you draw out the diagram. It helps you to visualize and helps you to put the thing, your value at the correct place when you do the calculation. It helps a lot. So if there's your question diagram, so I always tell my students when you're doing any calculation questions, when the question just gives you any words on it, all the information is on the sentence itself. There's no diagram to refer to. So it's always helpful to sketch the diagram by the side and add in your values. Then you will not make mistake. Okay, not too easy to make mistake. That means less chances of making a mistake. Okay, let's look at the diagram first. Figure 6.27 shows a 40 volt bulb connected to a 240 volt power supply. Now, look here, this is the keyword here. Power supply means this is the source. Power supply is always the source. So if it's the source, it must be the input. Okay, the source is what you want to change. It is the voltage that you want to change. So this is called the source. That means this is the input voltage. Okay, or sometimes they put the AC. Okay, 240 AC power supply. There's always the source, so the input. So that means this must be the input, 240. If you don't have a diagram, immediately you write over here. This is the VP. Okay, you write over there at the number if there's no diagram. Okay, if there's a diagram, okay, then you can write over here. VP equals 240. Okay, let's see what else given. Then you can given here is 40 volt. So if this is 240 is already your input, that means your 40 must be the output. Yeah, over on this side, you can see in the diagram, 40 is on the other side, which is your VS. Okay, your voltage for the output voltage, the voltage that's already been converted. VS is 40. And then you also need your number of turns, correct? Number of turns, they don't give in the sentence, they give in the diagram. So here is written clearly, your NP, which is the primary side, 120 coils. And then you're asked to find what? Okay, of course, you are given 3 information. Here is 1 information, here is 2 information, 3 information. That means you're supposed to find the other one. No? It's always they give you 3 information and 1 you need to find out. Okay, never 2 and then find out the other 2. You can find out if you have more than 1 unknown. So it's always 3 given to you. There are 4 parameters or 4 values. 3 will be given to you and you find out the other one. Okay, so they can switch the question. It could be NP or VP or NS or whatever. They can always switch the question around. Okay, look at this one. Find out the number of turns. Okay, number of turns is always N. Of the secondary coils NS. then you're supposed to find the NS. Okay, you understand the question first. Take about 1 minute, read through, underline, and also identify your values for each of the 3 parameters. Then ask you to find NS that is required for the bulb to light up at normal brightness. So find out how many coils this is. Okay, so first thing you need to do is write your formula. Okay, so write formula, always try to remember. How to remember is V over V N over N. Okay, just write out correct. V over V N over N. This way. Right. Let's say I prefer to find V over this side, V over here. Just simply put anything up here. I want to put my P up here, then the bottom is here. That means over on this side must be N over N, but follow so P on top and the S at the bottom. All right, okay, now let's fill in your values. What values do you have now? Your VP is on this side, 240. Okay, so 240 divided by VS. VS is this side, which is 40. Okay, correct. Right. NP is still clearly given to you. NP equals to 120 divided by S. So NS is what you want to find out. So you cannot change it with anything. Just leave it as NS. This is your unknown. Okay, so let's concentrate on this first. Now you have a ratio, okay, equivalent of 2 ratios. Right? So what you need to do is you have to, how to solve this? You have to cross multiply. Whatever is at the bottom here, you times to the top on the other reverse side. So you're going to get a equation as well. So NS times on the other side times 240. So NS times 240. Okay, NS times 240 equals to this side. Bring up there 40 times 120. Now, so now I want to solve for NS. I want to find NS. Whatever I want to find, I leave it alone. Okay, don't kacau. Don't go and disturb this. Hey, sorry. I want to highlight this. I want to highlight this. So I want to find NS. So I leave it alone on the left-hand side. Sorry. I leave it alone on the left-hand side. And I throw what I don't need. So my 240 I don't need. All right. I need to throw to the other side. What happens when I throw it to the other side? All right. It is the reverse operation. So this is times 240. When I throw it to the other side, it becomes a divide. Okay, I'm sure you've done this many times, millions of times in your mathematics. Okay, so your mathematics will come in handy in science. So make sure maths and science always go together. Yeah, that's why when you go to Form 4 and we stream you, we always look at your ability to do maths as well. Okay, and also your science, the results, so that we are sure that you're able to do the questions in the science. You take up your pure sciences, biophysics, chemistry. We see your maths as well. Okay, so here 40 times 120, don't kacau here. So you bring the 240 down here because your 240 is up times. When you bring it over, it's divide. Okay, so now you can simplify this. Okay, so cancel your 0 up and down. 24 is divisible by 12, so divide by 12, you get 2 at the bottom, and 12 becomes 1 already. Okay, 12 over 24 is 1 over 2. So now you are left with this only. 40 divided by 2, so you get 20. Now 20 what? Students always are so happy they write the final answer. They forget to put your unit. What are you looking for? Are you looking for the voltage, or are you looking for the coil? Okay, you will read carefully. Find out the number of turns of secondary coil. So what is the unit then? 20 what? Can someone just write on the chat box here? What is your unit? Okay, what is the unit of this answer? Make sure you always remember to put your unit. Otherwise, it might be wrong. Usually it will be wrong. If you say 20, supposed to be cm, you just leave it as 20. Even though 20 is correct, but you don't get your marks. Okay, make sure your unit is correct. You're going to Form 4 already. It has to be correct. Okay, NS. Now NS is stands for what? It stands for the number coil. But NS is symbol for the value will be 20 watts. 20 watt. You don't say 20 number of coils. No need to put a symbol already. Symbol you already found. The answer is 20. 20 watt. 20 watt is it? 20 voltage. 20 watt. Okay, so don't put 20 ns. You put the 20. What is it? What is the thing that 20? What is the 20 for? 20 refers to the. Anybody else has an answer? 20 refers to the coil. So there should be 20 coils on the secondary coil there. Okay, so this is the value I'm talking about. Okay, now let's say what happens if I change my formula. Let's say I don't use this one. I just confirm. Just like I said, you can do it around, isn't it? You can change the position of your N and your P. Okay, let's say what if I do it this way around. I put my N here on the left hand side equals to my V on the right hand side. Now I put my, let's say, S on top and P at the bottom. I put S on top, P at the bottom. Will I get the same answer? Okay, will I get the same answer or not? Let's do it. Okay, let's try. NS is the number of turns on the secondary, so we don't know that. Let's put NS back here. Your NP is the number of turns on the primary, which is 120. Okay, let's just try just double check. VS is the output voltage is 40, and the VP is 240. Okay, let's just double check this. Now again, you have this problem where you have cross multiply, right? Now since you're looking for NS, you just cross multiply one side to do that. You don't need to bring the 240 up, because you bring up after you got to bring down some more. So no need, you just leave the NS on the left hand side. You bring the 120 up, so 120 times 40 divided by 240. Okay. See what is on this side. Yeah, 20 turns, correct? 20 turns, and you can see turns, you can see cost. Okay. So anything is cancelled. Here is divided by 12, you get 1. Divide by 24, divide by 12, you get 2. So you're left with 40 divided by 2, which is also 20. 20 coils, or you can say 20 turns. Okay, you can still get the same answer. So no need to be so rigid. No need to be rigid. Okay, oh my S must be up, my P must be down. Doesn't matter. But as long as both sides S is up on the left hand side, your S also must be up on the right hand side. And N over N, P over V. Not N over S or S not N over S or V, or no, sorry, not N over V or V over N. Okay, so remember that is the basic one. So once you already remember this, all the calculation of transformer you can do. You're able to solve, provided you know the information must put where. Okay, of course, if you put your 240 supposed to be VP, you put as VS, of course, you need to identify. Okay, let's look at questions. Okay, I want to give you, let's do some questions here on the spot. Right, okay, maybe we can do this. Okay, let's look at this. All right, you can, let's try and do this. We go along. I'm sorry, I just okay, right. So let's look at your the answer just now was 20 turns, correct? Okay. So no need to put NS. NS is actually the referring to 20 turns. So it's 20 turns or 20 calls. Now you put your value. Okay, let's try this. A 6-volt bulb receives an alternating current power 250 from a transformer. So here actually again formula. Now no diagram here. Again, if there's no diagram, it helps for you to draw. So you can just draw a simple one. Simple transformer diagram is just this. Okay, you draw on one side because this is now you will find out which is what. This is the source. Alternating current power. This is the source. So source here is 250. All right, 250 will have more coils because yes, okay, this right. Then you route this side, 2 lines here. Then the other side will be less. Doesn't matter if you do wrongly, never mind. We just want to let you to visualize on it. Okay, 250 is your source. This is your AC. So 250 over here. And the other side, your 6 volt, that means this is connected, your 6 volt is connected to here, bulb. This is connected to the bulb. So this will be the 6 volt. Okay, on the other side. The number of turns of the primary coil. Okay, so primary coil means on this side, 1,500. So here will be 1,500 coils. Then what you need to ask you must be the other one. What is the number of turns in the secondary coil? That means this one will be how much? Okay, so from here, you can more or less, you know your symbols already. Okay, so your symbols will be, let me change the color here. Source is always input. Input voltage is VP. That means your output will be your VS, the other side, okay? 6 volts. And then the turn on the primary is NP. And what you need to find out will be your NS. Okay, so let's do the calculation. All right. Write your formula. All right, doesn't matter. Your formula may not be the same as mine. As long as I told you, right, how to remember that. I'm looking for NS, right? Might as well put my NS on top. Easier. If I put what I want to find out, I put on the left-hand side and I put it on the top. I want to know, now I know I want to find NS. So it make it easier instead of having to bring it up and then bring it down again. So you just leave your NS, what you want to find on the left-hand side on the top. So, and then the other must be NP. Okay, so equals to V over V. Since my S is on top, so my V also must be VS on top and VP here. Okay, then just put your numbers there, punch on your calculator, you get your answer. So simple. Okay, NS, leave it alone because this is what I want to find. My VS is 6, right? Then my VP is 250. Okay, now this one I already gone over. This one NP. Okay, maybe it's a bit too difficult for you to visualize. Let me just do like this. The next step is NS. Just fill in the numbers first, easier for you. 1500 equals to VS 6. This and VP is 250. Okay, fill in your numbers first, and then only you switch them around. So like I said, this is NS. So you want to find out, you just leave on the left hand side and leave it on the top. So you don't need to throw it already. You don't need to throw. You just need to throw the 1,500. Just push it on the other side. You will get NS alone on the left, and your 1,500 has come to this side times 6 over 250. Okay, I think I get the answer already. You people answer, huh? What's the answer? Let me check. Yes. Okay, sorry. Here. 1,500 times 6 divided by 250. Okay, let's see. Yeah, correct. 1,500 times 6 divided by 250. Okay, so you can punch in a calculator. If you don't need calculate, if your maths is simple mathematics, you don't need also can. Cancel your 0. Always cancel like zeros. This one divide by 25 or divide by 5, you get 5. You divide by 5, you will get 30. So 30 divided by 5, you can also further simplify it to 6. 30 divided by 5, you get 6. So now you're left with 6 times 6. So 6 times 6 is 36. So 36 what? Yes, already got answer. Good. 36 coils or 36 turns. All right, there. Right, simple, done. Right, it's a simple calculation. Very simple. Okay, not difficult. You don't even need calculator most of the time. As long as you know where to put your numbers. Okay, let's do 2 more examples. Okay, let me do 2 more examples. Maybe if you're faster than me, you already get my answer. I'll get the answer before I even do it. Okay, here. Okay, maybe you can give you some time. You can just try it out first. Identify first what is your 500. What is your 10? What is your 120? Put the symbol at the number. If you don't need to draw, you don't like to draw, some people are not graphic, you don't need to. Just put your number at the number. Put the symbol at the number there. 240. Expression 60. You see, always have 3 numbers for you. You just need to put them in the right place. Okay. Okay, you do your own formula. I'll do my own. And then see whether you arrive at the same answer. Okay, let's put, I will put I'm looking for what? Output voltage. Okay, output voltage, I prefer to put it on the left-hand side and on the top. So I don't need to switch the number so many times. Output voltage is Vs. So Vs must divide by Vp. Okay, then on the other side must be N over N. But it must be S over P. All right, don't put it there now. Okay, so now substitution. Put your numbers in. Vs is what I want to find. Nothing there to switch. Nothing there to change. Vp is okay. Vp. Let's look. 500 turns. 500 on the primary. So this is NP. 10 turns on the secondary coil. Secondary coil is NS. Calculate the output voltage if the input voltage. Okay, input voltage, this is Vp. Right, okay, so this is 120 equals on this side will be NS. NS is 10 and P is 500. Okay, it's double check. All right, sometimes you can be careless. You just double check your value. Transformer has 500 turns on the primary, so primary turns is N, primary and P. Okay, 10 turns on secondary, NS. Yeah, calculate the output. Output is Vs, and input voltage is Vp. Okay, if I put it correctly, Vp 0, NS 10, and P 100. Okay, done. Now, so you have to, next stage, your Vs will be equal to, all right, I just drop this away. Bring your 120 up. So 10 times 120 divided by 500. So you'll just cancel off the zeros. All right. So now you're left with 12 divided by 5. So it's not a whole number. So always put into a decimal and put the correct value. Okay, what is the answer here? Let me check. I think some of you have already finished. All right. 2.4, 2.4. Okay, 120 times 10 divided by 500. Okay, so you tell me is 2.4. The unit here is volt. Yes, correct. Because you're looking, look at V. You're looking for V, must be volt. If your answer is NS or NP equals to something, then it must be coils. If you're looking for V here, all right, your V definitely is volt. Okay, done. Simple. Okay, go to the second one. Okay, second one, I didn't drop this away. Okay, go to the second one, and right, you let me know what times what divided by what. Okay, transformer needs to reduce the power supply voltage from this to this. These are two values given to you. Definitely it's V voltage, right? Number of turns in the primary coil is 500. You have to calculate what first? Find out what you want to calculate. The number of turns in the secondary coil. Okay, so let's try. Let's see the answers. Haven't got that? Okay. Once you got your answer, just type in the chat. I don't want to show you. You should have enough information to learn to do on your own already. Okay. Not yet, we have to finish checking. Okay, there is there's different answer. No, same answer. 125 V, 125 turns, 125 coils or turns. Okay. So let's check. You have 125 V or 125 coils. Okay, whatever is 125. Okay, let's double check. So what I want to do is number of turns on the secondary coil. I put NS. I want to find NS. I just put it on top easier. NS will be over NP, and your Vs will be over P. Right? Simple to remember. NS, leave alone. Divide by NP. NP is what now? NP is the number of turns on the primary. So it's 500 here. Vs is the voltage of the output. Now, from, you see the word here, from what to what? It means this is the original. From it is original. That means this is must be the primary side. And then to, that means convert already. This is the secondary side. So this one must be Vs, S 60. Okay, V will be 240. Because from means is original. Original, it must be the input. 2 is the change to what? So 60 is the output. Output is your Vs. Okay, cross multiply, bring your 500 up, and S equals to 60 times 500 divided by 240. Okay, let's cancel some zeros. Cancel here, cancel here. Here will be the 3000 divided by 24. So 3000 divided by 24. Let me just double check. 300 divided by 24. 300, sorry. 300 divided by 24. Okay, I don't have a calculator. I use my phone. 3000 divided by 24. Yes, you get 125. So take note of what you're finding. N is the coil. So number of coils. Okay, so I think should be quite easy for you, right? You need to master first thing out the formula and interpret from the question what is what. Put the values inside, and there will be no problem because the numbers you have a calculator to help you. Okay, all right. So this is skill I want you to learn today. Okay, and then in the Google Meet afterwards, all right, I'll give you some question and previous answers for that, and we look at your workbook. All right, okay. So we will stop here, right, for our Google Meet. Okay, I'll see you later. Okay, so those are the other viewers out there. All right, thanks for joining the class. I'll see you in another lesson. All right, bye bye. Okay.